Good morning, good evening, friends. Welcome to my channel, Kitab Se Ek Moti. Today, I'm not going to select a portion from a book, although I have a book on the writings of Abraham Lincoln, his writings and his speeches. It's a collection of his essays and the speeches he delivered on different occasions. But today I'm just going to read out this Gettysburg Address, and then we'll just have a brief discussion on this great speech that Abraham Lincoln delivered in 1863. This was delivered during the American Civil War, and this is considered a masterpiece of English literature. Now, Lincoln was a self-taught man. He didn't go to schools for long. I think just a few years of schooling he had, but he taught himself English. He taught himself mathematics, and he taught himself good speaking skills, and he taught himself law. So there is one line of Abraham Lincoln that we all should remember, and it is this: I will study and prepare, and my time will come. So in whatever field you are, you need some study to do. Even in the most practical of professions or businesses, you have certain ideas that you need to know, certain words of your profession. For example, if you're interested in starting a business related to gold, you need to know a lot about gold, about its purity, about this hallmarking, and the different sizes and shapes of the gold bars, and the different refineries in the world, and the London bullion market. I think there is a term for it which I'm unable to recall. So what I'm saying is every field needs some theoretical understanding. So this principle that Lincoln talked about, this is how he stated it: I will study and prepare, and my time will come. So you need some amount of study, and you need some amount of preparation to succeed in any profession. Other than the time you spend while you are at your job, while you're doing business, while you are in office, that matters. But you also need to do quite a few things off the job. So when you are at home, you need to spend some time in studying and preparing yourself, and your time will come. So anyhow, what I wanted to say is this: that is, the reason why Abraham Lincoln succeeded in life was that he studied, and he taught himself things, and then he prepared himself, and then his time came. And he's still considered one of the greatest presidents of the United States of America. So let me read this speech. It's titled The Gettysburg Address. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Now, this speech is known for its word choice as well. I mean, you'll see most of the words are maybe one syllable long or two syllables long. I mean, they are not very complicated words. Yeah, you do have some long words here and there, for example, dedicated, consecrated, and conceived in liberty, proposition, and so on. But most of the words are pretty simple. People, thus far, forget. All these are simple, single-syllabled or two-syllable words. So this is known for its simplicity, and this is also known for its kind of sublime language. Not just language, but even emotions, and for its noble ideas that have motivated people for generations. So that's the reason I thought I'll just read out the speech for today's video. Now you might have a curiosity to know which books influenced Lincoln the most. Now, he was influenced by quite a few books, for example, Shakespeare's plays, and The Pilgrim's Progress, written by John Bunyan, the King James, the authorized version of the Bible. But other than these, he was also influenced by, he read a biography of George Washington that influenced him. Thomas Paine influenced him a lot. But the two books that can still influence us and can help us in our lives, these are, I'll just mention the names of those two books. One is Samuel Kirkham's English Grammar in Familiar Lectures. I'll make a video on that. And the other one is Euclid's Elements, the book on geometry that shaped the Western civilization, because it starts with certain axioms and common notions, certain things we take for granted, and certain things we use in the reasoning process. There are certain axioms that are just believed because they cannot be proved in that system that Euclid, the great mathematician, developed. And then you have things like definitions. So that is how Western science evolved, basically. The Greeks had a lot to contribute to the progress of Western science and politics and Western civilization. So I think these two books should be read by every child. Everyone actually. The first book is English Grammar in Familiar Lectures by Samuel Kirkham, and the other one is Euclid's Elements, the great Greek book on mathematics, but it has been translated into English. You can read it in English as well. So I hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching.